All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to be market detectives because the stock chart for Airbnb, that's ABNB, just pulled a move that was so shocking it left a lot of people, myself included, completely scratching their heads.
And isn't that the truth? Just when you think you've got it all figured out, the market just finds a way to throw the ultimate curveball. This quote right here, it just perfectly sums up that feeling of being totally wrong-footed, which is exactly what happened with this stock.
So, let's get into it. We're going to break down this incredible reversal. We'll look at what everyone thought was going to happen versus what actually went down, and figure out how this stock, which looked dead in the water, came roaring back to life.
I mean, just look at the difference here. On the left, that was the story last week. It looks so simple, right? ABNB broke below its key $120 support level. The consensus was, okay, this is a full-scale rout. But then, look at the right. This week, a complete 180. It was a Lazarus-like resurrection, as the stock just violently shot back above that exact same level. This wasn't some gentle little recovery, folks. This was an aggressive, in-your-face reversal.
Now, a move this dramatic doesn't just happen randomly. It always leaves behind clues, little breadcrumbs on the chart. So this is where we start our investigation. We need to examine the evidence and figure out what the price is really trying to tell us now.
And here it is, our crime scene, the daily chart for ABNB. Now I know, at first glance, it just looks like a jumble of red and green bars, but I promise you, hidden within all of that price action is this incredible story of a trap and an unbelievably powerful reversal. So let's start digging into the actual data.
Okay, wow, what a difference a few days can make, huh? Now, the weekly trend, yeah, it's still pretty weak, but check out those daily and 4-hour scores. The momentum has just exploded, jumping to a 7 and an 8 out of 10. This is a massive flare going up, signaling that the buyers have completely seized control in the short term. It's like the engine of this stock just slammed into reverse.
And here's the really crucial part. It's not just one signal pointing this way. It's a whole chorus of them singing the same tune. The reversal happened on heavy volume, which tells you big money was making this move. Indicators like the RSI showed a literal explosion in momentum. We're seeing other signs of real conviction and textbook V-bottom patterns. All of these clues are pointing to the exact same conclusion.
And what is that conclusion? Well, it leads us to a classic and really fascinating market pattern. All the evidence is telling us we just witnessed something called a Wyckoff spring.
So this gets us to the heart of the mystery. What if that scary drop below $120? What if it wasn't a sign of weakness at all? What if it was actually a cleverly designed trap meant to fool the vast majority of traders? And here's exactly what that means. A Wyckoff spring is basically a giant head fake, usually pulled by the big institutional players. They intentionally push the price below an obvious support level. Why? To trigger all the stop-loss orders from people who are long and to trick new sellers into thinking the stock is breaking down. Then once all those sellers are trapped, they flip the script and start buying aggressively, sending the price rocketing up and leaving everyone else in the dust. And you can see how perfectly this anatomy fits ABNB. So step 1, that was phase B, when the stock was just chopping sideways between roughly $120 and $130. Step 2, phase C. That was the big, dramatic plunge below 120. That was the spring itself, the trap. And that means right now, we're in step 3, phase D, the markup, where the primary objective is to rally right back to the top of that old trading range. Okay, so now that we've decoded the chart, we've identified the trap. That old bearish game plan is completely out the window. It's time to build a brand new strategy based on this powerful bullish reversal. So the new bias is pretty clear, moderately bullish. The path of least resistance has completely flipped from down to up. Right now, the highest probability trade is to play for a move back towards the top of that range, targeting that resistance area right around $128. So how might you actually play this? Well, here are a couple of ideas. Over on the left, you've got a bull call spread. Think of this as a more directional bet. You're betting that the stock will actually make that run up towards 128. On the right, you've got a bull put spread. This is more of a higher probability play. You're not necessarily betting on a huge rally, you're just betting that ABNB manages to stay above that super critical $120 support level. But hold on, before anybody gets too excited and jumps in, this whole episode comes with a really, really critical lesson. The market just gave us a masterclass in humility, and that brings us to the single most important part of any trade, managing your risk.
This number right here, this is the most important number on the entire chart now.
$119.50. If ABNB closes back below this level, the entire Wyckoff spring idea is wrong. It means this was a bull trap, not a bear trap. This is the absolute line in the sand.
And let me be 100% clear on this. There is a massive volatility event looming on the horizon, the company's earnings report in early November. These strategies are short-term, tactical ideas. They are absolutely not designed to be held through an earnings announcement. That's not a trade, that's just a gamble.
You know, at the end of the day, we just have to remember this. The market doesn't care about our analysis. It doesn't care about our feelings. It has a wicked sense of humor, and our job is just to respect its power, manage our risk, and trade accordingly.
So, the ABNB chart told this incredible story of deception, of a deliberate trap, and a stunning reversal. It's a fantastic reminder to always look deeper than just the surface-level action. And it kind of leaves us with one last question to think about. What stories are the charts in your own portfolio telling you right now?